let's get this party started, baby. It's been a while since we checked in with the whole Illuminati thing. I think she's still getting dumpstered for being a silly little goose. But it's been a while. I don't really remember much of it because, you know, I'm just that cool. I'm a cool guy. I'm a cool guy with a cool hat. Anyway, there's probably some updates, but we're going to watch this video from Umperville to get them. Okay? So, let's start the show.
Oh my God, this is gonna be a long one.
Why is it loud?
Trigger warning, by the way, guys.
Is
we
it
got
loud
a bit of a trigger warning today. You've heard of
down.
Illuminati, this person who got canceled a while ago.
Illuminati has been exposed for
A Jalen reference. A Jalen reference. Wow, what is this? 1994? I don't know. I think Jalen commented under a video of mine. It was like, we should talk. And I was on vacation, so I never responded. I also, so yeah, Jalen, if you want, just show up to the stream and we could talk about whatever you want. Or somebody clip this and send it to Jalen and say, hey, pick a name already, you know?
for mistreating her editors.
Still hasn't recovered. A lot of the time, when YouTubers get canceled, they recover. People forget.
Well, people might still forget. I think the problem is she should have, like, after everything happened, she should have just stayed quiet and just let it roll on, you know? But
continuous lapse in my judgment.
Especially if the cancellation is from stuff that isn't, like, you know, go to jail type stuff.
Oh, man.
Why has this stuck so hard, and why has it been impossible for Illuminati to recover? Well, I'm gonna do my absolute best to explain it today, but first, you need to just watch and enjoy.
Well, part of the reason is it's just, like, popular in the commentary community for people to talk about. And when something becomes popular to talk about, like, they'll keep it going regardless of how necessary it is. I mean, I don't care. But I'm just saying that is, like, a factor. So
there's a lot of terrible YouTubers that get accused of many terrible things.
True.
Okay, sometimes these things are morally wrong. Sometimes they're legally wrong.
And I just wanted to make this video to say sorry to everyone that I offended. Sorry to all the people that I let down.
This has been the absolute worst week of our life, and we realize that we have made some terrible parenting decisions.
First and foremost, I want to apologize for how long this video has taken. There is no excuse, reason, or thing I could say to make that okay, and I want to take full accountability for that.
There's a huge distinction, though. One can be forgiven, the other cannot, unless it's a white-collar crime like stealing from the poor.
Or, like, jacking off in a dirty movie theater. Like, why is that illegal? That's right, you know? Pee Wee Herman's innocent.
And the poor are just people who invested in Crypto Zoo, and then there are still people that like Logan Paul somehow. Will you quit licking my face, you some bitch? Most of the people who do something bad usually do one or two things, and then they stop there because they get called out, and then they realize,
Never. I'm going to keep doing bad things.
hey, I'm bad, I'm just not going to do that anymore. But there's one YouTuber who is incredibly unaware of the terrible things that they've done and doesn't seem to have changed at any point. And I became aware of this creature a few months ago when a bunch of videos came out. Let's just say that. A bunch of videos on Illuminati came out. And then more recently, I saw a video from the internet anarchist who makes incredible videos. And it seemed from this video that Illuminati, like a Pokemon trainer, is trying to catch them all. Controversies, that is.
Oh,
what I got.
Is there, like, a lot more than I remember or than I realize? That'd be crazy.
From internet anarchist video, I needed to know more. I needed to do a lot of research and decided to make a large video myself. But first and foremost, go subscribe to internet anarchist and go watch his video. It will be better than mine, I promise.
5 months ago, I published a video titled How Illuminati Ended Her Career in 7 Seconds, where I discussed the disgusting and predatory behavior of a once respected YouTuber, Illuminati.
But I tell you what, boys, this shit's gonna be entertaining no matter what. Who's ever video what? She has completed the fucking alphabet of misdeeds. She's a ne'er-do-well, a literal ne'er-do-well. So who is this creature? Well, her name is Blair Zahn, aka Illuminati, a creator that amassed an audience from Reddit videos, which eventually shifted into video essays.
What is a Reddit video? Oh, a video about stuff on Reddit. I'm thinking, like, is Reddit a viable platform? Incorrect.
By the way, videos pretty solid, I guess, right? Like, They seem well made. The whole faceless thing bothers me a little bit, but ooga booga. She had a big blow up by making video essays calling out multi-level marketing schemes and charities.
So who is or what is Damsel in Defense exactly? Well, it turns out they're an MLM that sells self-defense products for women to women specifically.
And was able to amass an audience.
Easily manipulated. There you go. That's easily done. Is there any horde quests in the Dead Mines? No, there's not. That's fucking silly goosery.
Of 1.7 million subscribers, along with her editors, etc. By the way, I have editors. Thank you, my editors. I have people who help research.
I don't.
Stuff. Satchel, Connor.
I don't.
They're the loves of my life, and they make these beautiful videos possible. That's right, it isn't just me, if you could believe that. I know I'm impressive, but holy shit. This lady has called out a lot of companies that we hate. EA, PETA.
I love PETA. I don't know.
PETA sucks, dude. PETA makes me want to hurt animals.
I've had so many episodes about PETA that they blocked me on Twitter.
Tencent
may not be all that familiar to you. I'm sure
Is that the game that does Clash Royale?
some of their affiliates like Nintendo are.
Amazon, you name it, dude. It's baller. And as a reward for this epic content she was making, she grew and grew and grew. She was exposing corporate greed, cults, general fiendish behavior, you name it. Standard commentary, video essay type shit.
Chances are, if you spend any portion of your life on the internet, then you'll notice that Russell Brand has been cropping up a lot more lately. And not in a good way either.
But just because you make videos calling people out for doing things bad doesn't make you naturally a good person. It makes you a virtue signaler. I'm a bad person and I'm a virtue signaler. I just do this for money. I don't actually care.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of the internet, no? Is people virtue signaling for attention over and over again. That's one of the things that makes so much of the criticism on the internet so disproportionate, is that there is like basically a massive virtue signal, like almost pipeline or network that almost encourages it.
About the internet. Eventually, after this big up from Blair, cracks would eventually show in her image. She attempted to call out a fellow creator for stealing from her, allegedly. She called out a fellow named Legal Eagle for stealing her.
Oh yeah, this is where it all starts. She called out, like the editor called out the edit for using a similar intro card, like such dumb shit.
Her editing style that they'd already been using for 3 to 4 years, and it's just common in every style.
Who cares even if it wasn't used? And you know what I mean? Like, it's an editing style. Who cares? Also, yeah, like you said, everybody's already doing it. Like, it doesn't matter. What the fuck? This is so stupid. I wonder if she was just trying to get people to be like, oh yeah, that's the editing style of Schminkelbang, you know? I don't know. I don't know anything.
Documentary content. Dude, what the fuck? Why would you ever call anyone out for this? Not using legal editors, broaching my editors and make my video style when they didn't give up. They literally copied it. By the way, I have the messages from my editors and found an email from them too. Just change the color from purple to blue. Interesting. I went to my emails and found this outright saying, yeah, I'm gonna do this, but if you can make it easier for me, I'd appreciate it. Yo, shut the fuck up. You don't own that. You're not making anything, you're just slapping shit together. I invented this shit, all right? You know how many people use that now? I swear to God.
Especially since she doesn't even do her own videos. So they don't really, she doesn't edit her own videos, so what does it matter?
I was the first editor to ever do it. And they stole this too.
Hey Blair, I work as an editor for Legal Eagle, and I was wondering if there was some After Effects plugin you guys use for...
Dude, exactly, you're using an After Effects plugin. Like this, you didn't invent After Effects, you didn't invent anything.
I did.
You're just using a platform. That's like saying you're writing words in a way that is similar. You're using the same typeface. Dude, shut up. Now, Legal Eagle's editor, whose name is Danny, is asking Illuminati for a plugin that they use for a particular effect in their intro. And they
this seems like perfectly normal businessy, like, hey, and you got any tips or tricks? That were pretty cool tricks we could do together. Maybe we could do a fucking kickflip or something. You know, it's just trade secrets, I guess.
They say that they can recreate it anyways, but they were wondering if there was a way to do it faster. This is the intro in question.
Over 100-year existence, it has sparked countless moments of joy, sorrow, and frustration for its fans.
Illuminati then goes on to say that there's a bunch of different stuff that was stolen, just simple, extremely common editing things that no one owns, and
here's an example, highlighting. Oh yeah, I own that.
It would be impossible to find if anyone did it first. I raised this, Illuminati. Maybe you were stealing from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. They did it on their movie poster a long time ago with Jim Carrey. Good movie. Pretty good movie. Interesting concept. Wish it was real, honestly. Do I, though?
Okay.
I don't. It's crazy to allege someone of stealing something that is just commonplace. Like you play an E chord on the guitar, you can't do that. You can't do that. You run a pentatonic scale on the guitar, you can't. I made that up. I made that up.
I don't even know what that is.
And Danny, the editor for Legal Eagle, didn't think he was doing anything wrong or problematic or taboo. He even went
because he's not
into Blair's Discord and tried to reach out to her editors and communicate. Am I allowed to post a video essay I made that was inspired by Blair's channel, or is there like no self-promotion? Also,
Isn't that also like everything people do? They just kind of like do each other's ideas. Like, oh, this was a cool idea. Let's kiss. Like that's kind of like the whole thing, no? It's incredible stuff.
Is there any way I can talk to one of the video editors? I edit for Legal Eagle and I wanted to know how they did a specific effect. Why don't we all just try to make everyone's content better? So there's just better content and make it easier for people to make more interesting stuff. Not that it's important. Like,
I mean, it's also a community thing. Like, yeah, like why wouldn't you want people to come to you and be like, hey, like, blah, 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 you know? It just puts you in like a nicer position, no?
Defend Legal Eagle a little bit. They even had a torn paper effect 4 years ago. It's almost like this person has brainworms. Now, the response that she got for the call...
The fact that anybody even had to put the energy in to find out that there was that effect from however many years ago is just fucking atrocious to me.
Out was not the response that she was hoping for. She, I guess, thought that people really liked her a lot, but this all resulted in people questioning her credibility and character for the accusations that she made that seemed incredibly baseless and ridiculous. I really like Illuminati and her content, but her accusations of plagiarism against Legal Eagle are straight up fucking stupid. Legal Eagle must pay for digital highlighting. I normally love your stuff, but this ain't it. I say that as a fan. This is not a good example. This ripped white paper on a differently colored background is an extremely popular look for videos across the platform.
It wouldn't matter if it wasn't. It doesn't matter if it's a popular look or not. That's another thing. It's just it's just a fucking effect. It doesn't matter. Especially since she, like, they all rehash the same bullshit over and over again anyway.
Legal Eagle has been using it for years. Dude, yeah, exactly. What's even worse is that while she was accusing Legal Eagle of plagiarizing content, fun to say by the way, legal, people began digging as they tend to do, and they found an iceberg of her copying scripts word for word from other documentaries about the same topic she was making videos of. What? Dude, that's fucking ironic.
Professor Freudenberg has long been controversial.
A man named Hugh Freudenberg, a former immunologist who has been long controversial.
In 1989, he was caught up in a bizarre lawsuit involving the Food and Drug Administration, which told him he had to stop injecting his autistic child patients with blood products.
In 1989, he was caught up in a bizarre lawsuit with the Food and Drug Administration, which told him he had to...
Zero self-awareness, bro. That's the funniest part. Zero self-awareness, you know?
To stop injecting his autistic patients with blood products.
Oh, what was this guy up to, by the way? That's crazy. I want to know more about that shit. That sounds incredible.
Watch your video, bro.
Somebody want to inject me with their blood? Brian Johnson, you want to give me your blood? I'll take your blood. I'll take it. So that's kind of ironic and a little bit unfortunate that she just got immediately caught in the crossfire of claiming someone was plagiarizing her. So is inspiration imitation, or is it just fair game? Or, I mean, because that's more plagiaristic than just being inspired by someone and doing something incredibly creative like editing. To be fair, though, maybe she was just very inspired by this exact lines of script from a...
Yeah, sometimes I get inspired by exact lines from scripts as well.
Previous documentary. By the way, we haven't even mentioned or gone over Legal Eagle's response to all of this. He made a tweet response to her initial tweet of her calling him out.
Bitch.
He was very reasonable, and he said, "Hey,
Shut
Illuminati,
the fuck up,
I think
bitch.
this is a big misunderstanding. Perhaps great minds think alike. No one on my team is trying to copy you. Without an exhaustive review of your channel, I believe we used those two styles before your channel did. We've used them for 3 to 4 years." He then reiterates and says that the styles that are used in the video are very popular. Her videos and his videos.
Sure,
and Danny, Legal Eagle's editor, is a fan of hers and admits to that, obviously, and is not trying to steal, but is just trying to get help from other editors to improve his game. That's what editing is. Like, that's how it works. You learn. You have to learn. You can't just invent new stuff. What are you talking about, you goob? All this was followed by the final messages that Danny sent in the Illuminati Discord, just candidly asking for help, which that was all left out of her tweet conveniently. Now, the outpouring of a response that she received for these allegations, paired with the sting of disapproval that she found, it must have gotten through to her because she apologized both privately and publicly to Legal Eagle.
Well, I guess at least that's good, but she already kind of put it into the atmosphere, so now people are probably like digging instant. They're like, oh, we got to start digging for this bitch. It's life, brother. It's life.
To Legal Eagle. illegal. Although I have apologized privately, I would like to do so now publicly. I am
money
sorry
to
for making
sell
editing
stuff.
styling claims that were inaccurate. I jumped the gun, thought hastily, and should have messaged you privately to hash things out. I'm sorry. Dude, what? Now, the response to this on Twitter, positive. We got my boy Omni. He was like, yeah, that's pretty awesome. I saw that, dude. I saw that dude. Right-wing cope, whoever that is. That's pretty cool. People were happy. Okay, problem resolved. But there was a festering sore, an abscess, if you will, just below the surface that had began to rumble and bumble. And since all of these allegations, people were digging, okay? People were digging. More stuff was found in regard to Illuminati being a bad person. And here we go.
A sussy baka, if you will. A suspicious character from the popular hit video game Among Us.
Oh, guys, there were calls for her to acknowledge more serious allegations that had begun to be levied against her. Oh, crap. I would say one of the most damning parts of all of this is the next part we will get into, and that is the relationship that Blair had with her ex-boyfriend, Oz Media, a fellow creator. An internet anarchist.
Oh, they're boyfriends? Wait, there was an ex-boyfriend?
That Blair had with her ex-boyfriend, Oz Media.
Yeah, for me, I didn't know that. I don't know the specifics, and I'm sure we'll get into them in this video. But for me, when I look at like exes and couples and like the bad stuff that has happened, I look at it with like a different grain because I feel like things get very complicated when you're in an actual relationship with somebody, and the specifics of the relationship aren't always necessarily clear. So you know what I mean? But
a fellow creator. In Internet Anarchist video, he did a great job breaking down a video that Oz uploaded 2 months ago that shined some light on the way that Illuminati treated Oz during their relationship, the way that she would manipulate, isolate, and abuse the person she was supposed to be in a relationship with.
For full transparency,
how did she do that?
Which will be explored more in my future video, Blair and I dated. We were a couple for a decent chunk of time.
Now, Oz himself is in the process.
So, like, how did we show that there was manipulation? I'm just asking, was it because the guy said so, or was it because there was actually, you know what I mean? Because after a relationship that's bad, people could, you know, they tend to sensationalize the bad stuff that happened to them. I'm not saying that she wasn't potentially manipulative or abusive. I just wonder where the source of information came out, because Illuminati is bad, right? She's a shitty person. But one of the problems is that once somebody's under the scrutiny of a particular community, especially when there's no pushback, which makes sense that there isn't, but anything goes. You could pretty much say anything about them and nobody will care. Like, nobody's going to say otherwise. So I wonder if, like, we saw some actual objective proof that she's an abusive or manipulative person, or if the Oz Media guy just said she was and everybody took it as fact because we don't like her right now. So yeah, I'm victim blaming, baby.
Of making a huge documentary and exposed video on Illuminati, but it's taking a large amount of time, and he's got to focus on making normal content as well to be able to even afford the production on the documentary.
Well, that's kind of life.
Converting this monstrosity into a video with its accompanying 5,000 screenshots has been one hell of
500
a monumental task for me, a one-person
they have some receipts
team to embark on.
Imagine making a documentary on how big of a fucking bitch your ex-girlfriend is. That's crazy. I'm sorry to laugh. To me, that's very funny. And by God, is she getting what's coming to her. Blair would abuse Oz not only emotionally, but financially. And it is important to note as well, with the things that Oz plans to be saying in his big exposed video, and with how litigious.
If we're getting into the Oz situation, don't worry, Papa. It's literally the most clear-cut financial abuse I've ever seen. Okay. Yeah, again, I have to see it myself before I believe it, but okay.
Blair he is making the video with the understanding that it will be played in a courtroom. That is crazy.
I want to firmly state that this update
that seems
is being made with the understanding that there is a likelihood that this will end up in a courtroom.
The video? Okay. Well, I imagine that the courtroom would rather parse through the information without a video, but okay.
And this is where Oz begins to unveil the things that Blair has done to him.
Imagine those sitting in a courtroom and you're just playing like a fucking Illuminati video in there. It's like, this guy's an asshole, or this, you know what I mean?
And continues to do in an attempt to just ruin his life.
Blair is in the process of currently foreclosing my home because of this stress of Blair taking.
How is she able to foreclose his home?
Taking my home from me. I need to pump the brakes and change directions so I won't be homeless come Christmas.
This bitch.
I don't understand. How is she able to foreclose on your home unless she owns the home? And if you guys got divorced and the home went to her, why are you living in it? I don't understand. And when he says pump the brakes or I'll be homeless by Christmas, it sounds like what he's saying is he has to make money or he'll get kicked out, which is very normal. I'm trying to be real here. Am I missing something? What am I missing? None of that. What's the context there that goes, oh no, you're wrong, Papa God? Like, what
is the Grinch legitimately? Blair also sent Oz a cease and desist following a Twitter thread that he put out about her.
When I did speak out, as many of you are aware, Blair sent me a cease and desist.
I mean, look at all this stuff. I ain't reading all that, but that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. What an evil person. The most disgusting and hilariously hypocritical part about all this is that she apologized publicly for this, but then sent the cease and desist.
A cease and desist, by the way, over a Twitter thread which she apologized for not only in her video, but as well as privately.
It's looking more and more like it's going to become a legal showdown between Oz and Blair. So Oz launched a GoFundMe. I'll have a link down below if you guys want to go support that. It's
I don't know, something about this smells weird.
Going to help him with legal fees, and he'll be using anything past the legal fees to help secure a...
She wanted to be the landlord of all of her employees' friends, so they lived in the houses she owned fully or partially. Oh, if that's true, that's fucking weird. But that's fucking weird. But that still doesn't really answer my question necessarily, because it's like, okay, so that is weird. It's weird to have that control over somebody. It's almost like the business of owning a property instead of owning the store on the property. So you have that level of control. And if she wants to do that to her employees, like absolutely could see how that's like really controlling. Definitely I could see that problem. But at the same time, if she's trying to foreclose on his house, okay, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, I guess they're not employees anymore. So she's trying to sell it in some capacity? Whatever. Okay.
A living situation. So hopefully that money is used well.
I guess maybe we'll have to do like a dive into that like later. Maybe tomorrow we'll watch the Internet Anarchist video or something.
At the beginning of Oz and Blair's relationship, Oz was 20 and Blair was 28. And
that's weird. I don't like age gaps like that, but okay. Maybe you guys send me in the Discord like the video you want me to watch on that or engage with.
In the beginning, she guided Oz into making some severe...
Blair used Oz's good credit to buy the house, and then when they broke up, she made him sign a very difficult to get out of contract. Interesting.
Really financially irresponsible decisions. And he believed...
Well, I mean, you're dating a kid. 20 years old is basically a kid nowadays. So that's fairly weird.
...her when she reassured him that he could handle it all.
In the beginning, Blair walked me into...
If Oz doesn't pay the minimum, then she, the owner, will take it. Interesting.
Several poor financial...
Well, I mean, he still needs to pay the minimum. But the one aspect of it that's still a little weird is that, like, he still would have to pay for the house to live there. But I see what you're saying. It sounds like what you're saying is that if he doesn't pay for it, then she gets the house. But then also, like, he should have always been trying to pay for the house, and part of it seemed to be like, oh, I have to get my shit together and make money to live. And it's like, yeah, that sucks.
Financial decisions. My naivety caused me to believe her reassurances that I could handle all of the financial obligations being dropped onto my shoulders by someone more experienced in life.
Okay, that makes sense.
She pressured him to do this because she had terrible credit and he had good credit, and she wanted to take full advantage of that. And she manipulated him into using his credit for her benefit. One of the uses of...
At the bottom it says all alleged. That might be true.
Oz's credit was to purchase a car, which he co-signed on.
Why these obligations were placed onto me? At the time, Blair had bad credit. So all of the purchases, loans, everything was being placed in my name. This included the car that she purchased, then revoked from Wonderstruck.
And monthly payments for Oz began to stack up to the point where he had to ask Blair for help because she was making far more money than him anyways. And this was in spite of the fact that she was the one who caused the financial burden.
Eventually though, the financial responsibilities that I incurred would stack up on me, building a mountain of monthly debt that would lead me into several financially tight months and eventually just breaking.
So girlfriend who make more money help boyfriend who make less money who is in financial ruin. That's not a new situation. That happens a good bit. But generally speaking, the girlfriend or partner just in general that's helping the other does it out of the kindness of their heart because they care for that person and money isn't the only thing that matters. In this case though, Blair tracked all this and added every single expense to a ledger of debt. What the
These amounts of
should she do this ledger of debt before or after they broke up?
Assistance would be added to a ledger of debt. And I want to clarify again. Blair wasn't my bank. She wasn't my landlord. she was my partner at this time.
What's even crazier is on top of all the normal debt that she was helping him cover and slowly tightening her evil hold over him, she also allegedly pressured him into a non-refundable design fee and land deposit.
This ledger also includes things such as a non-refundable design fee and land deposit on a multi-million-dollar custom home that she threatened to break up with me if I didn't agree to proceed on this with her.
Yeah, listen, I don't know about any of this. This is something that needs to be settled in court. Again, what's happening here is, for the most part, we just have two. I'm sure he has some information that can back up some of the spots, but at the end of the day, when it comes to anybody's problems and shit like this, it's very easy to run a narrative and then have some information that might support part of that narrative, and then especially if it's a hated individual, people are like the Illuminati is, people aren't going to look at it as necessarily as impartially. So for me, I don't have a particularly strong opinion on it because we don't really know what's going on. And so, like, if this goes to court, then we'll see what happens in court. That's really where what's going on. You posted a video in the Discord.
Who are these people? This is crazy. She included this into her debt ledger, by the way, in case you were wondering, and also threatened to break up with Oz. And
maybe we'll watch that after. But
in case you were wondering, she just had to add another level of manipulation in there because she just couldn't.
But a lot of it's just like he said, she said. Like, it's not. He's claiming that she would break up or do this, and that might be true, but we don't really know. It went to court. Is it done in court? Is the court over? Is the court complete? Did they finish? Did they make a final verdict on it? Is that what you're telling me?
Handle it being too, you know, it's got to be entirely one-sided. Every good relationship is. What an evil person. The total amount that was tallied in Blair's debt ledger for Oz was equated to approximately 180,000 USD.
This ledger would creep into the range of $180,000, an insurmountable amount where I don't even understand how she got there.
And Oz felt quite embarrassed by this, as one would. It's a lot of money to just owe someone for making stupid decisions. Even if you were not the one making those stupid decisions, it's still perfectly valid.
Okay, so it's not over in court. So just to be clear, what I said is, hey, listen, we don't know the specifics here, because even though there might be some evidence to support what he's saying, doesn't mean that all the evidence supports everything that he's saying or the entire narrative that he's pushing. And then I said we should wait for it to go to court, me personally, so I'm not going to have a strong opinion. You said, well, it's in court. It's like, it doesn't matter what's in court. What matters is if the court's over. Just to be clear, like, I gave you a very reasonable perspective and you were upset with me. That's what you're saying. Well, it's in court. Okay, it's not. It went to court. It's not in court yet. It's not done yet. So I'm not going to have like a strong opinion one way or the other. If she did those things, then she should be found guilty and, they should put a noodle in her ass. But we're not there. I'm not going to engage in the dog pile. I don't have a particularly strong feeling towards or against Illuminati. I don't care. So, yeah.
To be embarrassed.
It needs to
money
go to
just
court.
Disappears sometimes.
Like, give the guy money to go to court, and if he's in the right, then they can hash and settle that all out.
When you're being pushed into doing something by someone who has a hold over you, it disappears very, very, very quickly.
That number ballooned higher and higher, the number ever increasing, and I never questioned it out of guilt for needing help. Guilt from her telling everyone, from her friends to my friends, to her employees, to hell, even her Discord staff, about my finances, oftentimes unprompted. Guilt involving the fact that everyone I interacted with on a day-to-day basis looked down on me for her words towards me.
She told her friends, his friends, her employees, and her Discord staff. What a great person. And somehow through all of this, Blair had managed to convince everyone that Oz was the one who was a parasite and a leech and taking advantage of Blair.
My own partner, the person who was supposed to be my other half, was actively putting me in a position where she was chipping away at my mental health. I was afraid to tell anyone what was happening because she had convinced me that I was a parasite.
And he was hanging on to her out of desperation when the entire situation was manipulated and meticulously plotted and executed by Blair.
Again, allegedly. Thank you. You put it on the screen, allegedly. This is one of the problems. Like, again, give him money to go to court. But one of the problems I have is like the absolute dog pile. Like, this is something that should be hashed out in court. Like, you know, none of us are trained specifically. And a lot of it is like, hey, a guy said a thing. We don't like her, so we're going to take all of it as a fact. You know, let's let it go to court.
Another tactic that's common with people like Blair, and one that Oz said
allegedly, like he's speaking with this confidence as if this is true, and then throwing allegedly on the screen every once in a while. And it's like a lot of this, like again, a lot of this is very complicated. It's alleged. Just to be clear, but I guess I've made that trigger warning valid enough.
Was employed by her is a tactic of deliberate isolation of the person you're trying to manipulate. Oz said that when you're around Blair, your life has to revolve around her. He had to move to Colorado to be with her. His home was her home, even though her name wasn't even on it, and we'll learn how that happened later. He didn't have any friends nearby, and everyone that he had connections with had to be approved by her. She also controlled his debt, his income. She signed his paychecks and made him entirely reliant on her for everything.
Something to note, when you're around Blair, your world revolves around her. In my case, my home was hers, despite her name not being on it. I had no friends out in Colorado, a state that I moved to at the behest of Blair. Only Blair's friends were out here. All of my connections had to be approved by her.
And on top of that, she gaslit him into feeling guilty for everything that she was doing.
She might have.
All while my world was painted to me in a light where I should be grateful for her generosity.
Classic. Epic narcissist moment. Oz even says that he believes his talent attributed to her channel and the way that he helped her make videos and the way that he helped them interface with YouTube, it increased her income to 6 figures a month from the channel revenue. This is all while he's not able to make enough money to pay his bills and also has a debt ledger with this person.
That might be real, or maybe it's just not true. Like, why are we taking everything as like a fact? Like he made the channel. Maybe. I just don't understand. Okay, whatever.
That is Kafka-esque bullshit.
While I worked for Blair's company, I helped improve it in any way that I could with my knowledge of how YouTube
so you got paid?
worked. I was able to assist in the push for Blair's channel to make the sudden and stark rise into a new payout range of 6 figures a month.
How come we think that just because he worked for her means that he was like the catalyst and the most like impressionable person on like what? I'm not saying he didn't help, but what? Is his claim he wasn't getting compensated fairly? Is that part of the claim?
All while I was being paid not even enough to get by with my monthly bills.
I will say that a lot of this is...
How much is the monthly bills that you have? Because it sounds like you bought a lot of stuff. That might have been partially at her behest. I don't know, but how much were you getting paid? Like, how much of you living outside your means is her fault? That's what I'm talking about. We don't really know. Based on all the claims that he's making, like it's possible that she manipulated him in some capacity. But I feel like this is a problem with like relationships, because in a bad relationship, two people are going to get together. They're going to be bad for each other. They usually stay longer than they should. They build resentment for each other. They start to hate each other. They start to filter what happened through that relationship with the other person in a way that's more and more hateful as time goes on and things stew up and resentment still stirs. And then you come out with a perspective that doesn't necessarily or may not necessarily align with reality. I'm very apprehensive when it comes to relationship stuff because I've been in very bad relationships before, so I know the flow of what's going on. And I'm not saying that he's lying. What I'm saying is that as time goes on, memory rewrites itself. You know, you'll filter your feelings and emotions about the person. You'll filter those feelings, or you'll filter the situation through those feelings, and then all of a sudden you come to a perspective that may not necessarily align with like reality or what actually happened. So
it's just from Oz's perspective and his anecdotes and his own opinion, but the fact that he believes the video that he is making and the things that he's saying here will be included in a video that's going to be shown in front of court. I assume nothing he's saying is going to be said that can't be backed up with actual provable data and information.
I don't like backlight. Well, I'm sure that everything he's saying is going to be backed up with proof because he's going to court. Okay. The problem is that, again, like I find it irresponsible, the framing metric on this. It's like, well, these are all allegations and it hasn't been parsed through court yet. But I'm going to assume that he's telling the truth because he probably has a backup to all of it. It's like, okay. That just sounds like such an incredible claim. Okay.
Oz also alleges that when he was 23 and Blair was 31, really getting up there. Sorry, that's rude. I just said that. I'm 27. I'm getting old. She, with her lawyer, would intentionally create a confusing legal document that would result in Oz needing to pay back the debt from the debt ledger.
When I was 23 and Blair was
why wouldn't he pay back
nearly 31, Blair, with her lawyer, would create an honestly quite confusing legal document for me to sign where I would agree to pay back her debt.
She knew that he was not able to afford legal representation to read through an argument, so it was a bunch of legalese and nonsense.
So what's the problem? Is the problem that it's confusing in how he pays the debt back, or is he not supposed to pay debt back? This is what I'm talking about. Like, what's the debt for? Like, you know, that's the real question. Young people aren't exactly the best with their money. Did she force him to take out debt, or did he want to buy things that he didn't necessarily have the means for? And she's like, I'll buy it for you, but you have to pay me back. Like, what's the specifics there? Okay.
And he missed the landmines that were laid. I'd like to see the document. That sounds scary. He also claims that she essentially trapped him in a room with herself and her lawyer and gaslit him into foolishly signing the document and guilted him in a bunch of different ways.
Blair would bring me to her lawyer's office.
So like the claim is that he signed it under duress. So this is like another thing too. Again, go to court, do your thing. But the reason that this claim is being made is to invalidate the contract if it does go to court. The idea is to say, I was placed under duress when this whole situation happened, so I'm not legally liable for actually signing this piece of paper. That might be true. It also might be a tactic when it comes to court. Just to be clear, generally speaking, especially if he's hiring a lawyer or he has hired one, he's raising money for it, so he has the money for a lawyer. This is, of course, going to be the angle of the lawyer. When it comes down to, and I'm not saying that she's innocent, I'm just saying that like people shouldn't be operating as if everything that he's saying is absolutely true. The job of you and your lawyer when you're suing for something is you're going to take the most extreme stance that you possibly can, and the other person will take the most extreme stance in the opposite direction, and then the lawyers advocate for their client, and then you come out the other side with like, okay, this is what actually happened. So again, the things he's saying, like he was under duress, that might be true. It also might not be true. And for people to so confidently operate in a capacity of like, yeah, this is true. This is definitely true. I think it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. He's going to obviously make sense that he would say that. But for everybody else that operating in such a confident capacity, I think that's rather irresponsible.
Put me in a room alone with the two of them, with papers in front of me. Papers which I foolishly signed for a myriad of reasons, ranging from Blair expressing that this would mend our relationship, that it was the right thing for me to do, that this would also protect her legally and prevent her from getting into trouble with the IRS. She also would describe to me, and while I can't remember if this exact word was ever used, she essentially explained to me that because she used company funds to assist me, that she had committed embezzlement.
The last one is especially confusing to me because those last two though, those are massive red flags. And the first one is,
well, their claims.
The red flag, just a standard one. The last two are like, why would there be claims of embezzlement when you loan an employee of yours money that's then paid back? What? The whole time too, she's making claims to Oz that this would fix their relationship and they could move forward together.
Again, that's what he's saying. I just want to talk about. I don't like the framing. It's so annoying. It's like she was making these claims. You don't know that. He's saying she was, and he might be telling the truth, but you don't fucking know that.
As I briefly stated earlier, Blair used this debt as a promise that this would specifically help mend our relationship, not our friendship, and put us on a better foot.
But she'd already apparently moved on and was keeping it a secret from Oz. She also had all of their mutuals hide this fact from Oz as well.
It wouldn't be until a few weeks after signing that document that I would learn that she had already moved on, and had almost everyone in my daily life keep this fact a secret from me.
This was all the while having him sign what he would later learn was a deed of trust. This deed of trust required this man to pay her $2,500 every month for a decade.
I wasn't aware of the power.
That's insane. Jesus Christ, for what?
That this document held, what it does, what it allowed her to do. This document gave her the power to foreclose if I was unable to make a monthly payment of nearly $2,500 for nearly a decade.
Oh, well, that's a house payment. That's not that crazy anymore. I'm very fortunate that my house payment specifically is only like $1,800 a month. But like that's a typical house payment. So if he's living in the house, like you would have to, A deed of trust is an agreement between a home buyer and the lender at the closing of the property. So it sounds like she bought the house, and then she's like, you have to pay me for the house. That doesn't really seem too crazy. It's a lot of money. Yeah, living in a house is a lot of money. This isn't that crazy to me. You know what I mean? So like, you could move out. No, couldn't he just move out and not pay it? Isn't that because he said, or she would foreclose on me? So just move out of the house and go somewhere cheaper if it's an issue. But if you want to live in that house, then like you're kind of at her will, no? That's how that works.
Blair knew that even with my income working for her, that this wasn't possible.
And if he wasn't able to, she would.
So then get a different job. I for this stuff like this, like I don't have a lot of sympathy for because like life sucks, and I've worked like 60, 70 hours a week for her, and it just is what it is. So it's like, okay, like yeah, get a job, man, get another job, make your own content, do your thing. So.
Would be able to.
It sounds, yeah, okay.
To foreclose on his home, which is where they are now. How? I mean, this is crazy. I mean, why would you ever
move out of the house? Go live somewhere else. Not to be a dick, but
$2,500. Like it should be able to lay that out. That's contract fraud. That's fucking
what?
Wow. How? I mean. This is crazy. I mean, why would you ever sign $2,500? Like it should be able to lay that out. That's contract fraud.
Probably did lay this out.
That's fucking. I would send that shit to the FBI. Fuck a courtroom. Send that shit to the FBI, brother.
Holy
so now
fuck.
We can call back to
commentary. People are so terminally online. Holy shit, this is fucking crazy. It's like half of this doesn't really seem like an I had to pay a deed of trust that I could stay living in the house of my ex as long as I paid for it. Like how abusive. Okay, that's crazy. Like leave the house. Leave that house. Go live somewhere else. Like that's cheaper. Go live. Move with a friend.
Jay Super chatted $6.07.
Okay.
Hey Papa.
Hey, what's up?
Been
brother?
watching you for years.
Thanks, man.
Your videos have been a constant source of comfort and respite. Just wanted to say thank you.
I
Hope
appreciate
you're
that.
well.
I am. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
To some of Oz's tweets that came out a little while ago.
You don't understand the issue. I think the issue is that there could have been an issue in this relationship that might have been abusive. And the commentary community and whatnot have decided that she's instantaneously guilty on all charges instantaneously, and nobody's pushing back. And like, which they shouldn't. I don't care. I'm not gonna make this video like, oh, Oz Media is guilty. Like blah blah. I don't fucking know. But people are operating in a capacity where like, oh my god, this is proven she's a horrible person for this. Like she must be guilty when we don't really know anything. Go to court. Give him money to go to court and let it settle itself out. That's the right way to operate. You know, you want to support him, give him some money and see how it goes, and then they'll go to court, and you want to know what he's probably going to lose on some of this, at least. I mean, like, when it sounds like, yeah, like he's living in her house. He's living in a house that she paid for, and if he doesn't continue to pay for it, he can't live there. Like, oh, what a hot take. Like, I don't know. Is the house under his name? Yeah, it sounds like it, but I guess she put the money up for it. It sounds like that, like he used his credit, and then she would buy the stuff in the relationship. So again, you could just leave the house, move out.
Calling out this woman. He claims that Blair stepped into a more managerial role because she worried she lacked personality, which makes sense now. She also used Oz to confront people that she had issues with and used him as a mouthpiece, and then let him choose either the carrot or the stick.
Super chatted $2. How is SOD going?
It's pretty good. I'm enjoying Season of Discovery. There's not much context being shown here, but there is some info in the video. I'm sure that there is info in his video. I'm sure his claims aren't all completely baseless. But again, let it go to court. Let it go to court. Look at it from there. There's probably information that supports some of what he's saying, but he also obviously it sounds like he's very hurt by her. It's a very normal human thing to feel. But that doesn't mean that everything that he's saying is accurate.
Did good, as in had the choice made that benefited her. He was showered with adoration, and if he did bad, he was hit with a stick. I don't know. Okay. Or he wasn't actually hit with a stick. It's just in Internet Anarchist video, he was able to find some leaked messages from Blair's Discord server, which perfectly highlight the way that she would spin things to make it sound like Oz was the evil mastermind and the bad guy. Once again,
okay, you're not going to show it.
Taking absolutely no responsibility for anything, especially not being an evil piece of shit to your boyfriend.
The worst part, honestly, is that Oz worked for me, worked with a team, and he knew that doing this would hurt their livelihoods. He's mainly doing it because he owes me almost
$9.99. Meow meow, I love you, Papa Gut, meow meow.
I love you too. Okay, what did he do that was so hurtful?
$200,000 that he took from me. Like, goddamn, we broke up at the end of 2021-ish, and when I finally started to see someone new in January, he broke into my computer and read through my Discord DMs to find messages.
Also, if the 200...
How come we don't think that that part's true? I'm just curious. No, it's not Blair White. It's Illuminati. Her name is Blair. Like, is there, like, okay, maybe part of that's true. I don't fucking know.
Okay, and the leaked Discord message is true. And she made this man sign a repayment clause. That's like a $300,000. That's $300,000 to be paid back. Oh, for a personal loan from your girlfriend over things that...
Over a house.
You forced him to buy.
A house. This is the thing. He could leave the house. This is part of the problem. Is that, again, I'm not saying that, like, everything she did was right. But what I'm saying is on this thing, he lives in the house. You're like, oh... This is crazy. It's supposed to be a loan from your partner. It's a fucking house loan. Like, listen, I've been in this scenario where I've co-signed student loans, and I'm now financially responsible for $50,000 worth of loans that are not mine because my ex is a fucker. Okay. The fact that I don't blame her for wanting to get paid back for the house that he's still living in. That he could just say, nah, peace out, dude. Like, is that not part of it? That my understanding is he said that the house will be foreclosed on if he doesn't pay for the house, which means that he can get out of the obligation by not paying. So but he wants to live in the house. So it's like, why shouldn't he pay for the house he lives in? I don't understand that point. Would it hurt his credit? Yeah, probably. But like, if he can't pay it, like, why would she stay there? I don't know. I just, that's what I'm saying. There's so much aspects in the middle here that we don't know. So
the Oz stuff is the main thing. I implore you all to go check out Internet Anarchist's video and also Oz's video and all this. And stay tuned.
I think this is it for me. I'm tuning out of this Illuminati. This is obviously not for me. All that can be said is like, wait for it to go to court. Everything else around this topic is like, it's commentary fluff, frankly. It's like, okay, like there's not a whole lot there. That's it. Like there's everything else is speculation because for the sake of speculation. Like, let's see what happens.
For his big doc that's about to drop soon, hopefully soon. Another aspect is the Sad Milk and Click aspect of the Illuminati situation. Big drama. Big drama. Sad Milk was Blair's reaction channel with a couple other people that was used to react to online stuff. Memes, images, videos, whatever it be. It originally started as a Reddit meme channel, but then later changed to reacting to a wider variety of things, as every great reaction channel does. However, this group disbanded earlier this year, and it was exposed that the reason behind the disbandment was Blair. One single person, an ex-member of the Sad Milk channel, The Click, that's not his real birth name, I don't think, posted a thread to Twitter during the Legal Eagle drama talking about the reason why the channel had failed and ended. And he says a lot.
The person you're watching was a Millionaire 22, has no clue about any of these things. Oh, yeah, there you go. But there you go. That's the... There you go. There are she blows. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Like, yeah, if you get listen, if you get famous young, you're not gonna do. Are you kidding me? Fuck you, kill that. I'm taking it, pussy. I don't give a fuck about you. I'm about me. I'm about me. I'm about me. I'm about me, bitch. I'm taking the chest. Fuck your mother. Perfect shit, dude. I'm fucking out, motherfucker. I'm out of here.
They love these threads. Oh my god, thread. Fuck. He talks about how he no longer associates with Blair and hasn't for years. Okay. He then lists the reasons why he refuses to associate with her. She would lash out and yell him, call him a bad friend, and then throw other accusations at him that had little to nothing to do with him. This terrible stuff caused him and a couple others to leave, and then she would drag their names through the mud on Reddit and Twitter. And conveniently enough, classic internet style, when people questioned Blair, hey, maybe you're the problem. What did Click? She would show those people who were questioning a video of Click that was problematic, that he's apologized for many times and owned up to. The video that she showed people of him being problematic. What was it and how did she find it, dude? He said the arsler. The arsler.
The arsler.
Yes, that's right.
Why does he say it so weirdly? The arsler.
The arsler. Okay. She paid someone to dig through Click's old content to find him saying the arsler. Look at this. I need you to work to help me find Click saying the arsler in Sad Milk's raw audio.
I can do that. Let me get a shower and I'll be down.
She claims he said it in a Sad Milk video, but he can't remember which one. And she's over her head with shit. I'll pay you $200 to find it. Then this person who leaked this goes on to say that They don't have a problem with the R word, which a lot of people don't, and she does, but she still uses it.
Well, we should, as a society, have more of a problem with it. It is a slur against people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, especially those that are higher support needed. Which I know Umberville has autism, but he's not a higher support needed individual. This is something that like people is historically been used to abuse, oppress, and sexually assault people, like institutionalized like abuse. So, you know, it's up there with the N-word. It should be considered as such, but since we don't really respect higher support needed people in the system, we don't care. So it shouldn't be used. I don't like if somebody uses it, I don't think they're a horrible person. Like if he could have said the fucking N-word 10 years ago, I wouldn't have cared either. But like, you know, we should start to place more importance on the badness of the word.
It in private, which is an epic win. And then there's a little PayPal screenshot of Illuminati paying this person for video review. $200 to find a decade-old video of a dude in high school that was learning English saying the R slur. Many people would come forward from the group with their own stories similar to the abuse stated by Click. This is terrible, dude. She is a terrible person. After he posted this stuff, Blair would come out of the woodwork just trying to ruin Click, essentially. He said that in his Discord server, there was an instance of a member inappropriately behaving with a minor, and she would insinuate that he knew of this and allowed it to continue.
I remember all this. It was all dumb as shit.
I really wouldn't lightly make accusations like this unless...
I mean, one of the reasons why people are going to operate in a way where they're like, oh, she must have done all the bad things to this other guy, Oz Media, is because of the way that she's acting outside of this. She's like a huge virtue bully cunt. Excuse me, sorry. I'm Australian. She's like a huge virtue bully piece of shit. So obviously people are going to operate with a certain energy because she operates with a similar energy, right? And so part of it is because of that, just to be clear. Wow.
I had seen them for myself.
He responded to her claims in his own video and says he was asleep. So
the situation brought up mentions a joining my Discord. It is said that neither I nor my team took action against this predatory person.
This guy was learning English 10 years ago. He speaks very good.
Actively chose to do nothing to resolve the situation. However, her statement in these DMs about Click knowing is very odd, as I would have been very unconscious when the ban was happening. She might be referring to me knowing by the time I woke up, but the fact remains I wasn't there, nor did I endorse this random creep.
She would then go further, as she does, digging up more videos to try to get him canceled. And in the meantime, she'd accidentally expose herself. That seems like what she likes to do. While searching for a clip of him saying the N-word, she states that her alt accounts will love this. So she just has an alt account, and then she's like spreading false information to Reddit. She pretended to be an autistic person that was mad at Click for using the R slur, and then posted another one that
I could see her being autistic, though.
Was even more vague and pretended to be a fan investigating. What a fucking psychopath. But it gets better, guys. She replied to her own epic post. That's hilarious. This is her, Doobie Schmertz. What the fuck? This is insane. And apparently this Doobie Schmertz person has been harassing Click and his friends and colleagues and staff for a long time, and it was just her.
I heard Super Mario Nicholas is a groomer, but using a moist critical AI is insane. What the fuck are you talking about? Papa God, what would you do if somebody used your voice to make a video? I don't know, jack off to it? Like,
dude, that is so fucking insane.
Here is the same account, Doobie Schmertz, on Twitter. This was an account I remember distinctly from 2020, 2021 that was relentlessly harassing myself, my friends, my colleagues, my streaming colleagues, past colleagues, ex-Sad Milk members, community members, staff, you name it. You name it.
I have an alt in my server, my Discord server. I don't harass my friends and family, though. Sometimes I do, but then I immediately tell them that it's me, and then they're like, oh, okay. And then we single out the weakest of the bunch, and, you know, survival of the fittest.
Okay. Interesting video. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna be doing too much more of this Illuminati stuff because it's just a mess. I don't like to speak with a confidence undeserved all the time. Sometimes I do. No, but in this case, she's a bitch, obviously. But we don't know that everything that he's saying is true. Doesn't mean he's lying. But like I said, people will filter they'll filter their relationships through like a horrible lens, especially if it's two people who are together that shouldn't be, which is a lot of relationships. And so we don't really know. We know how he felt, and we know that that feeling is going to have an impact on the way he tells the story, whether he does it intentionally or not. But we don't know the facts. We don't truly know exactly what's going on. Let it play out in court. Give him some money to go to court and end it there.